clubs, games come thick and fast. So after the FA Cup on Sunday, the Reds turned their attention to the League Cup tonight. The last time they faced this evening's opposition, the match turned into a bit of a thriller, with some of the best goals that you're likely to see. Will we get the same kind of drama under the lights this time round? It is Liverpool versus Fulham in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. Kick-off here at Anfield is at 8 p.m. Welcome along to Matchday Live and to Anfield, where tonight I'm joined by Ray Houghton and Jason McAteer. That's it.
You got it.
It has been a while. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm not enjoying the weather, by the way.
Yeah.
How cold is it?
That's it. Well, some of us have to get on with this most weeks. Ray is well acclimatised to the Matchday Live pitchside temperatures, so we'll be okay. Have you missed Jason?
Of course, I always miss my mucker. He just tell me about his golf at the moment and how warm it is over in Qatar and how well he's playing. It's made me very jealous.
My wife's watching. I've told her I don't play golf.
Doesn't play golf. That's we'll save.
He's not a member of any course.
We'll save Jason's handicap for post-match. In terms of the matter in hand tonight, big game tonight. It's a cup semi-final, but a big blow in the build-up to the game with the news that Trent's set for a few weeks out. He's hyperextended his knee. There's no way to dress it up. It's a big loss to be without him. He's been a pivotal player for Liverpool lately.
Yeah, he's been absolutely huge for Liverpool in the way that they've been playing this season. You know, since he's come into that central position from the full-back area, you know, when he comes in as inverted full-back, he's so good on the ball. You know, his vision, his awareness, the range of passing that he's got. The amount of Liverpool players that can make runs in behind, because when he's on the ball, you know he's got that ability to deliver it into the right areas. He's been absolutely huge. And I was at the game Sunday and I could tell when he picked up the injury, he was struggling. He was really struggling, and you're just hoping he's not out for any length of time, because regardless of the replacement, they're never going to be as good as him in possession of the ball, because he's just, such a fabulous footballer.
It looked so innocuous at the time when he did the injury. You know, it didn't look like it was anything serious, but it just shows you.
Do you know what I think it is, Mark? I think it is when you come off the grass and you go into the AstroTurf. I've got a real problem with it. I've got to be honest with you. I've seen it so many times with players. You know, they come off of that grass surface and then they come onto this and they just lose their footing, and that's exactly what it looked like there. He looked like his boot got stuck on the turf, and then that's where the hyperextensions came from. So they have to look into that, because someone like Trent and how valuable he is to Liverpool, you can't afford to have him out for any length of time for incidents like that. And I know that there'll be replacements who can come in. As one door closes, one opens for someone else, and that's what you're looking at. But are they going to be of the same level? I'm not quite sure.
You can't underestimate the impact he's had on the side of late Jason. You look at the league table since Trent made that switch to become an inverted fullback at times. Liverpool have been excellent, top of the pile. He has improved the team. He has improved since that change.
It's a difficult position to play as well. You know, picking the right time to come inside, to stay wide. And obviously there's games where Arsenal, for instance, Martinelli will hook the touchline. You know, it's a game of cat and mouse for him. He's got his defensive responsibilities, but also he's moving into that midfield area where he wants to get on the ball. And if anyone in that midfield is going to play a 60-yard pass to feet, it's going to be him. So you want him on the ball in them areas, and he's picking and choosing really, really well. But just to touch on, I totally agree with what Ray said. But also I think he's growing into this leadership role that he's taken on at the beginning of the season. I think at times you see him organising, you see him very, very vocal, and that's worth its weight in gold in this modern day era of football, and he's really growing into that role as well. So he will be a miss. Listen, he's world class. I love his hunger and desire for it. A lad who's won absolutely everything. You know, he still wants to win things, and he still wants to improve, and he still wants to improve the team. So yeah, he will be a big loss.
Yeah, he's playing well, he's leading well. The good thing, I guess, is that you hope this break has come at the right times. We won't perhaps be without him for too long, Ray, and too many pivotal matches. At least that's the hope.
Look, we're all guessing how long he's going to be out. We're just not sure at the moment. We'll have to leave that to the medical team. They'll be looking after him, and they'll get the best medical advice as far as recuperation, how long it's going to be for him to get back to full fitness. I don't think he's one of them lads that's going to lose a lot of fitness, because he's naturally fit, you know, and he, as Jason quite rightly points out, he loves the game. You know, when you look at him, he's the sort of lad you like watching, you know, because he's got this enthusiasm. It's his club. He's a local lad. He wants to do well for Liverpool Football Club. I think he's a huge influence, the youngsters coming through. I didn't realise there was that many on Sunday, there was 10 out of the 20 who have come through the youth ranks. So it just shows you, I don't think that gets talked up too often. A lot of people don't really talk about it that much, but that's the pathway for all the youngsters. There is an avenue for them to get into the first team, and when you see the likes of Trent doing well, Curtis doing well, then the younger players think, well, that's the club I want to be at, because I can see the manager, he believes in the youth, you'll give them the chance if we were good enough to play.
Trent picked up that injury in the victory over Arsenal, Jason. Such an impressive result to go down there and be so resilient in the first half, stand firm and come back with the victory. Just a really good approach by the Reds, albeit under some pressure in that first half.
Yeah, they were slightly fortunate. Arsenal, I think, dominated the lion's share of possession. Certainly in the first half, created probably the better chances of Liverpool, although they did hit the bar, and obviously so did Arsenal. But Mikel Arteta will be disappointed he didn't convert one of them opportunities to sort of build on and take the game forward and go on and win it. But Liverpool stuck in it, and 0-0. You always knew Liverpool were going to have a spell in the game where they're going to create something, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then it was just about the opportunity of taking that chance, which is what we did. And once we got 1-0 in front, it opened up a little bit. I thought Diogo Jota, I thought the substitutions, all of them made a big impact, but certainly Diogo Jota, I was a little bit surprised he didn't actually start the game, but when he came on, he made such an impact. He's such a clever player, and as we've seen with all the stats, up there with Mo Salah for conversion rate, and he was excellent when he come on. But yeah, a well thought out victory, and I think as well, Mark, I think Liverpool, certainly the top teams, they always ask the priorities of a football club, and yeah, for Liverpool it'll be the Premier League, and then you probably have to say the Europa League will follow that, because Jurgen's not won it, he's lost the final, then the FA Cup, then the League Cup. But I think at the weekend, I think it showed the desire by the team, the club and the manager, that actually they do find this really important. We had a great day out with the League Cup and the FA Cup a couple of seasons ago where we won both, and Jurgen knows the importance of it for the fans more than anything. So I thought it was a really, really good victory.
We've just seen some of the action defensively from Liverpool. It was backs to the wall at times, it was last-ditch tackles, but nevertheless there is that desire to keep clean sheets and do well in the Cup. Second half, slight tweaks by Jurgen. Jota makes an impact, Liverpool much better, and we're kind of equal to Arsenal in the second half in many ways, Rick.
Yeah, I think what the difference was we changed our shape slightly. We went with a little bit more pace in the wide areas. That's nothing against Harvey. Harvey, I think, is better suited when he plays in the midfield role. I think when he goes out wide on the right, and the way that Liverpool plays, not quite quick enough over the ground or to get in behind, because that's what Liverpool like to do. A brilliant ball in. I mean, I've got to be honest with Trent's delivery from set plays wasn't great on the night, but that was absolutely on the money, and it proved a problem for Kiwior. He put it into his own net. I just thought Liverpool, we were nice and solid. They stood firm. They worked really hard. They created the opportunities, and the longer the game went on, I just thought Liverpool were going to get the chances. And just look here, look, 5 Liverpool players inside the 18-yard box, and Jota with a little ball through there for Luis Diaz, who I'd like to see him start on the right a little bit more often with Mo being away. I think we've got to find someone to play in that position, because the way that we play, Liverpool are the quickest team in transition. When they're in the defensive third, when they win the ball, they're like Olympic sprinters going forward, getting it into the opposition's final third. They don't pass through the thirds. They're not looking to do it slowly. They're getting there as quickly as they can. And that's why we just need that little bit of pace, and I think Diaz gives us that.
I agree with Ray, yeah. I think them wide areas, I mean, how many players played wide in that Mo Salah position? I think Harvey Elliott had a go. I think Diaz went over there. I think Jota ventured out there. There was a lot of different permutations in that front three in the second half. Diaz went from that left onto that right, Harvey Elliott then dropped, then he went off, and then Jota down the middle, Nunez went on the right. So it took him a while to actually find it, but I think the last 10 or 15 minutes of the game, certainly when Jota come on, I think he found a formula that really hurt Arsenal. I agree with Ray, I think it's pace. I think Jota up on the right-hand side, sorry, Diaz up on the right-hand side. You can even go Nunez down the left and Jota down the middle. I think you've got plenty of pace and versatility there. Yeah,
and the reward for Liverpool for that victory down at Arsenal is a game here against Norwich or Bristol Rovers. Of course, they have to contend a replay to decide who gets that honour. But in theory, a slightly easier game for the Reds in the next round than they've had in some of their cup encounters so far this season. OK, let's return our attention to tonight's match here then and get the team news for tonight's game from our man, Rob Jones.
Mark, thank you very much indeed. A mighty impressive victory for Liverpool in the FA Cup at the Emirates on Sunday, and just 3 days later looking for something similar here against Fulham at Anfield. Well, Jurgen Klopp has made 5 changes tonight from the team that won in North London just a few days ago. The captain is back, Virgil van Dijk, and also into the team come Quevin Kelleher, Conor Bradley, Ryan Gravenberch and Diogo Jota. So to take you through the Liverpool team in full, Quevin Kelleher has been an ever-present in the Carabao Cup this season and continues in goal. Defensively, Conor Bradley will make just his 5th Liverpool start alongside Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate and Joe Gomez, who makes his 200th Liverpool appearance tonight. It'll be a midfield 3 of Curtis Jones, who scored Liverpool's 500th goal in the League Cup in the last round against West Ham, alongside Gravenberch, and Alexis McAllister, whose only Liverpool goal so far has come against Fulham. And then a front 3 of Harvey Elliott, Diogo Jota and Luis Diaz, who scored his first FA Cup goal for the club on Sunday. Can he do the same in the League Cup tonight? Substitutes: Alisson, Nunez, Gakpo, Clark, Gordon, McConnell, Beck, Kwanzaa and Nioni. As for Fulham then, well, they rotated a little bit to find themselves into the 4th round of the FA Cup by beating Rotherham 1-0 last Friday night. But Marco Silva makes 3 changes from the last Premier League team that he picked, which was a victory over Arsenal on New Year's Eve. 2 of those are in force because Calvin Bassey and Alex Iwobi are both away representing Nigeria at the Africa Cup of Nations. Tom Cairney also drops out of the team, so in come Issa Diop, Harrison Reed and Andreas Pereira. So the Fulham team in full then tonight. Bert Leno's only played 1 game in the competition so far this season, which was in the quarter-final just across the park against Everton, which Fulham won on penalties. It's a back 4 of Timothy Castagna, Tosin, Issa Diop and Anthony Robinson, who started more outfield games than any other Fulham player this season. Just in front of that will be Harrison Reed and João Palhinha. Then Bobby De Cordova-Reid, who scored the winner in Fulham's last couple of fixtures, Andreas Pereira and Willian, and then up front Raul Jimenez, who's got 5 goals in his last 7 matches for Fulham, having not scored in his previous 24 club fixtures. The Fulham substitutes: Marek Rodek, Harry Wilson, who scored against his former club last time the teams met, Kearney, Ream, Muniz, Lukic, Francois and Carlos Vinicius. These 2 served up a cracker last month, a 7-goal thriller which Liverpool won right at the death. What can we expect a little later on this evening?
Thank you, Rob. Well, Ray, a few moments ago you said, one door closes, another one opens for someone else. Trent misses out because of that injury we've spoken about, but Conor Bradley gets the chance to start for Liverpool tonight, and he's earned that with his recent showings.
Yeah, I thought he'd done really well when he came on as a substitute on Sunday. He looks a natural full-back. I'm not sure he's going to go into that inverted position, but certainly he'll defend that back 4 extremely well. He looks a competent lad. Enjoying his football at Liverpool. I mean, he's had his injury problems this season, but when he came on, you could see there was a few occasions when he did things and the players went over and high-fived him, and that was a good sign because they believe in him. You can see there, he looks fairly accomplished, isn't he? A little cushion headers down. He's not panicking. 1v1 situations, he looks more than capable of defending that area of the field. He didn't panic at all there. He showed his quality. They were just hitting it off the attacker and getting a goal kick, and he defended his back post really well. That was a really accomplished header there, and then just as I say, went back. I think even then Alisson came out and just high-fived them. And these are all. When I look at Liverpool at the moment, what I see, Jason, I see a group, and I watched them come out before the game on Sunday. I see a group that are together. I don't see like 2 lads over there and 3 there, and they're having a little moan up because they're not in the starting 11. I just see a group that are so concentrated and so happy in each other's company and so focused about what they've got to do, and I think it's refreshing to see a team like that, because that's what you want. You want everyone pushing and pulling together. They want to be successful. They want to be in the starting 11. If they're not, but they're wishing the player that is in there all the success when they play. And I think it's really refreshing.
I think that's inherent of Jurgen Klopp's teams anyway. I think that's one of, first and foremost, he wants them to be a team, a unit, a squad. They're all pulling together. Just go touch back on Conor Bradley. I think if we look back to how Trent got in the team, Nathaniel Klein gets an injury, Trent gets, I'm not suggesting obviously this is going to happen, but he gets a strong run in the team. And if we're looking at Trent going into that midfield area for good as one of the 3, then Conor Bradley might get a run of games now, which might suggest, well, food for thought for Jurgen Klopp, where he can trust him. and he can put Trent into the middle of the park as well. So listen, it might not be a bad, obviously missing Trent is a bad thing, but it might not be a bad thing for Conor Bradley to get a little run of games now.
It's trust as well, Jace, isn't it? The manager trusts him, you know, because look, we're in January now. What's the priorities? The league title? Is that the most important trophy for Liverpool? Probably. I mean, you wouldn't want to be top of the league at the moment. You want to lose it because you think, oh, we might not be strong enough in a certain department. You would like to bring players in that can affect that area. But the manager's happy enough with what he's got. You know, he's looking at Corner and he thinks he's more than capable of playing in that right back position for whatever number of games that Trent's out for. Of course we're going to miss Trent because of, not only because of the, you know, his leadership qualities he's got now, but because he's so good going into midfield and his vision and awareness. But I think there's other players now that are coming to the fore who have been waiting, they've been patient, and they're ready to come in and show the manager what they can do.
It's also very difficult for a young player towards the back end of the season to actually get in the team because everything's so important. You can't drop points. Semi-finals of cups around the corner, as we've seen today, like when the FA Cups, you know, the semi-finals obviously in a couple of months' time, but hopefully we get there. The league, you can't afford to drop any points because we know how strong Manchester City are going to be, and you're in the knockout stages of the Europa League. So to throw a kid in and just go, well, I'm going to have a look at him, kind of doesn't really happen. But if you throw Conor Bradley in, maybe if Trent gets another injury or he needs cover, you know, he's getting a good opportunity now to get some minutes under his belt, but gain the manager's trust where he can look maybe in the semi-final of the Europa League and go, do you know what, I trust him, I'm going to play him. So it bodes him well, Conor Bradley.
But he's a good example of the value in loan spells away as well. He went to Bolton, was player of the season for them, you know, and they've got an illustrious line of former right backs. He's a full international with Northern Ireland. You know, he's got games under his belt. He's had a little taste in Europe as well this season. You know, he's got a platform there to go out and say, you know what, I've got a bit of experience, I can step into things like this.
I think you're going to learn being at that club, but being at Liverpool, training with the likes of Trent, with Virgil, with Canati, that'll improve him as a player. With all due respect, you know, he's playing in the Premier League now. He's not playing in the Championship. He's playing in the best league there is, playing with a club that's top of the league, the club that are still in full competitions, and he's got to be able to come in and command his spot when asked, and that's what Jurgen's asking of him tonight. That's what he asked of him on Sunday when he came on as a substitute, and he'd done it fairly comfortably. I thought he was absolutely excellent when he came on in the game against Arsenal. Can he do it tonight? Can he do it the next game after that? These are the questions that have to be answered. But you can only do it if the manager's got confidence in you, if he believes in you. And that's what I see with Jurgen at the moment.
The other thing about it as well is when you play for this football club, so it's a great point, as you know, you've got to handle the pressure of winning things. It's not just pressure of playing well for yourself, it's actually winning things for this football club, because that's what it's built on. So you've got to be able to reach the expectation that not only the manager has of your teammates, but also the fans. You know, you can't let anyone down at this football club, and you can shrink very quickly under that pressure. So these kids do really well when they come in. They deserve more credit than what they get.
Yeah, they certainly do. They handle the occasion very well. OK, we're about to leave our viewers on social media, but if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, X or TikTok, and you fancy a bit more Matchday Live, you can find the details of how to subscribe to LFC TV and LFC TV Go online at liverpoolfc.com/watch. If you are sticking with us on LFC TV, there's plenty more build-up to come after the break. We've got live audio commentary from 8 p.m. We'll also have analysis and exclusive post-match interviews in the Matchday reaction show for around 10:15. And as ever, the full match replay is available on both TV and Go from midnight. Plus, Inside Anfield is available on Facebook and YouTube from tomorrow. So, we are signing off on our social channels, but the build-up continues on LFC TV and LFC TV Go after the break. Coming up in just a few minutes' time, we'll hear from Pep Lijnders, speaking ahead of Liverpool taking on Fulham in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final.